appreciate the sympathetic temperature.
Yes, and speaking of which, you all may have remembered Senator Jim Inhofe during the big snowstorm back in Washington in February, building that igloo, or actually it was his kids that built the igloo, and they put a sign on it that said Al Gore's home. Honk if you like global warming. Back then, Senator Inhofe was ridiculing those that were concerned about global warming because it was cold in Washington and throughout the eastern seaboard. Well, we went to talk to him about the situation now that we are in the middle of a heat wave. Here's what he had to say. The 95-degree temperatures we're seeing here.
I say the same thing as we said back in January and February when we had the coldest winter that we've had in a long
But back then you said we were on a cold spell that we're 9 years into it.
Actually, we are, yes.
Yes.
And,
this is a cold spell?
I don't think that anyone disagrees with the fact that we actually are in the middle of a cold period that started about 9 years ago.
Well, if you go to Senator Inhofe's website, he does have a whole range of evidence he puts forth on this that says proves his point. But for the record, not everybody agrees with that. The National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration says that we are on track to have the hottest year on record. But now it is post-politics time, and it is cool. In the studio, we have Amy Gardner. How are you?
I'm very well, and it is hot in Nevada, too.
Yeah, and we want to talk to you. You were just out with one of our favorite Senate candidates, Sharron Angle. And a fascinating story in today's Washington Post. Yes. How is that campaign going?
You know, I think it's not going very well for Sharron Angle right now. It's one of the hottest races in the nation. It should be an incredibly competitive race. Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader, of course, has not the highest popularity rating in the nation, nor in Nevada. The economy in Nevada boasts the highest unemployment rate in the country. It should be competitive, but Sharron Angle has gotten off to a rocky start. She's ducking the media. She's, allowing, a pretty aggressive and competent press corps out there to sort of catch her on tape, dodging out of press events.
Catch her not answering questions.
Yeah,
yes.
And it just doesn't look too good. And meanwhile, in her silence, Harry Reid, who has raised close to $14 million so far, and counting, has been hammering her on the airwaves, and with some effect because her numbers are falling.
And you quote some staff members in your article expressing frustration that she's not answering questions. People are calling the campaign headquarters saying, we want you to be the next senator, but you need to be out there talking about why you want to be senator.
Not only that, but they almost appear to be giving her advice about her stance on Social Security and what she should be saying, and then, sort of articulating it in a way that really doesn't represent what she wants to say. She doesn't want to continue this this message that she's for phasing out Social Security, even though she has said that in the past. Her own staff doesn't even know that. There's a little bit of discombobulation over there.
Is she manageable? I mean, I know that the National Republican Senatorial Committee wants to go in there and try to steer this campaign. I mean, is there any sense that she can be handled and this thing can be turned around?
I think it's an open question. I think there was a lot of hope in Washington among National Republican operatives that they would pivot now. The pivot is not happening right now, and right now the message from Republicans here in Washington is dismay and deep concern that she's finished.
And she's got some big guns going out there. I know that the RNC and National Republican Senatorial Committee sending out some operatives to try to help, but a lot of this comes from the candidate herself, don't you think?
The candidate and her local campaign folks who are still calling a lot of the shots, and much to the frustration of some of the national folks who are trying to help.
Right, and Harry Reid, of course, the National Tea Party would love to defeat, but it may end up being that they get saved by her.
It's remarkable that a man whose national popularity has been listed in the 20s and 30s and whose popularity in Nevada is below 50 is actually looking like he's going to be okay.
All right, Amy Gardner from the Washington Post Politics, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Check out Sunday. It is Jake Tapper's final week at the helm of This Week, and he has two very special guests, Tim Geithner, the Secretary of Treasury, and a man you may hear more from, the Governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, getting a lot of buzz in Republican circles.
Yeah, one of the hottest Republican governors right now.
All right, and it's twitter.com/Rick Klein. That is a new address. I cannot stress that enough.
Twitter.com/John Karl.
That's an old address. You want
John Karl.
Rick Klein.